All right, is this thing on? Let's find out. Let's find out if we're on. Okay, Twitch is live. Okay, Twitch is live. Okay, Twitch is live. Eventually, I'll get to a point with these streams where I don't need to spend the first 5 minutes of them fiddling around to make sure the technicals are aligned. But since last time, I wanted to fix. I was having a lot of dropouts with the mic. I still don't exactly love the way I sound in it. I want to tweak it some more, but at a minimum, I wanted to catch on things that I'm saying and maybe make it so that I could put my head away from the mic and y'all can still hear me. So that's tweak one. Tweak two was getting it so everyone can see all the chat. So we got the overlay there. We'll just see if that works. Okay, we got Twitch validated. And YouTube is also active. We're good. Playing a little bit of relaxing Oblivion music in the background. Oh, I know what we can do. We can make the lighting in here a little more interesting. That's something we can do. A little more interesting. Long term, we'll do something a little more with our lighting setup, I'm sure, but no reason to heavily invest because in 6 weeks I won't even be living here. Wife and I made the decision that we'll be moving, setting off on the next step of our adventure, and give an extra impetus today. Big news of the day is that as of this morning, I am free from work. So of course I'll begin pursuing my next goal. Attempting some reconfigurations of life and all the things. But I tell you, there's the exhilaration and fear, I guess, of losing something that was a stabilizing force in your life. And there's also the freedom and relief of moving on from that stabilizing force in your life sometimes, isn't there? Definitely a lot of both of those feelings going through me today. In all of it, though, I'm having a very funny moment. I might do a video about this. Because in 2022, I was laid off, lost my job, and it was a very dramatic day. In about 24 hours, I lost my job. My home office was flooded, and my cat got sick and had to be taken to the cat emergency room. And I recorded a video. On that day. I wonder if I can find it. I don't remember what the video was called, but I remember just the grim determination I felt to hang on no matter what. and to be whoever I needed to be in order to get through it. And I must say the feeling is much different this time around. Making sure that the chat is coming through. No one's here yet, that's fine. I haven't really advertised anything, just relying on notifications. It seemed to work last time. A number of people want to notify. Maybe that's something if you're watching this VOD, or if you're tuning in later, to let me know what you think about how you'd like to be notified that I'm going live. Or if you would, maybe you don't. It's okay too. I tend to aggressively curate my notifications digitally. Be very opinionated about how I receive them, but I know not everyone feels the same way I do. I think there's a way to pop out just the chat for some of these things. I still don't quite trust that Restream is grabbing all the chat for me. Still don't quite trust it. About chat. Okay, I got that. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to have a look and see if I can find that whole video. Okay. Now I got the Twitch and YouTube chats isolated in case we need to troubleshoot a bit. You know, talking to yourself is not very interesting content, is it? It is Henry. Good morning to you, Henry. Fine. Finish morning? You don't say finish, do we? Whatever it is that we say, I propose to say it. Is the chat overlay working? Looks like it is. Oh, that's good. That's good. What's for breakfast, Henry? It's morning everywhere. Oh, you need some more volume? I can oblige that. Would you let me know if that's too much? Testing, testing. Is it too much? Chicken legs in the fridge. Well, I just got a very creepy message. I'm working on selling my car. Sounds great. Thank you. And thank you. One of the things I worked on was in this last week was trying to play with my mic and amp and try to get things sounding a little cleaner, a little better. I listened to the stream VOD from last week and noticed that there were like a lot of audio cutouts, and I still don't quite like the way that I'm sounding. But I need to invest some more time into playing with it. But I got a creepy message just now on my phone. I'm selling my car, right? And I have like a billion text messages because I sent out a bunch of inquiries to dealers and whatever. And I just got a message from one of these dealers I reached out to, and it says this. Here's the creepy message. And again, I just put out an inquiry to the World Wide Web. Here's my car. How much you got for me? Inquiry. Some customers like to bring a friend along for their appraisal visit. Would you prefer to have someone with you, or do you usually handle these things solo? Are they trying to make me feel comfortable, or are they trying to see if I'm a vulnerable young woman? Probably they're just trying to stay engaged. I'm sure that's what it is. Yeah, it's a little odd. I've had a few conversations with folks at auto dealers today, hoping to get the car sold pretty quickly, because the big news of the day is that I've lost my job. And the next chapter in my life begins today. Celebrating with a little Canada Dry. Delay seems high on YouTube. Okay, I'll be curious to hear what that's like. We're going through a restream, right? So I assume there's some intrinsic delay there. And maybe there's some tweaks I can do on the OBS side to cut down on the delay. Was it sudden? I saw it coming. Things have been weird for a while. And then they were not good for a while. And I was getting confusing feedback, and things were changing, and it's very clear I was in a vulnerable position. So I've started, within the last couple months, trying to figure out, okay, what's the next step look like? So I've already got some things in motion, and the good news is that my wife and we're already planning to make a move that's going to help us save a bunch of money and live beneath our means. So we'll be doing that next month, and so everything's kind of timing out quite nicely, and it's just a question of trying to figure out the short-term cash flows now. And one of the things that's happening is that my car tabs are coming up for renewal, and if I don't renew them in the next 2 weeks, I can't drive my car on the road, and that'll cost me like $600. So I'm trying to get the car sold before next month, so I don't have to pay the car tabs, and also car payment and everything else. So, but yeah, the job change situation, strange. It's something I'm going to stay curious about for a long time, I think. Doubtless there are things to learn from what happened. But I've had a sense that it was time to move on to the next thing for a little while, and now I have proof. Moving to a houseboat in the bay, huh? That's a fun idea. Actually, I know somebody who did that. One of my singing buddies moved out of their Seattle house, sold it, and moved into a houseboat on Lake Washington. I think it's on Lake Washington. Hey Lex, how you doing today? $400 for registration stickers for 2 years. The DOT wants $586 for me to renew my tabs for 1 year on my car. But we're going to sell it instead. We're going to sell it. Sort of an impractical bachelor vehicle anyway. But you know, when I lost my job 3 years ago, I remember what a grift it truly is. Actually, everything about my car situation is a grift. The only people winning out are the banks. That's why part of why I got to get out of it. Okay, chat's working, so I can close these down. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm kind of excited about all this change. Even with the work, relatively high paying, We've been living in a high cost of living area. I've been living in high cost of living for the last few years, really the last decade. It's stressful, man. It is stressful. Even when you're getting ahead, you're not getting that far ahead. So it's really exciting to look forward to making a move that's going to help us really drain the stress out of our finances. And who knows what'll turn up with the work? It could be that it takes me a few months to find the next thing. It could be that it happens very quickly. Actually, I got just minutes after I was let go, I got a response to a job that I applied to a month ago. Just while I was filing my unemployment claim. It was kind of poetic, really. I was going to see if I could find my video from when I was out of work the last time. Hard times and gratitude. Should we have a listen to this? Listen to Deeg of Days Gone? We saw New World is shutting down at the end of this year. Another WoW killer dead. Sad. That game was pretty cool, too. It just shows you how foolish that model is for a video game. The MMO. MMO, okay. How do I do this again? Right. Window capture. Oh boy, here we go. Look at this guy. Hearing me through the same mic, the same webcam. That looks all right. All right.
Hey friends, it's me, Deeg. Just turning the camera on because I got some stuff I want to talk through, and I think maybe it's something that others would appreciate hearing. It's become so apparent to me in these last few weeks just how much it is my choice to go through life alone or not. And the theme of this talk is hard times. It's been a rough go of late. IRL. September was a funny month. My wife got first bronchitis that laid her out flat, made her unable to really take care of herself, and then hurt her back immediately when getting well. So I spent the whole month, being who she needed me to be. And I'm glad I was able to do that. I'm proud that I was able to do that. Right when things were getting better, October rolled around and I was laid off. And we got a fistful of unexpected medical bills.
Oh, yeah.
And my cat my dear sweet cat, woke us up in the middle of the night, howling and yowling. A $1,200 visit later to the animal emergency room. It seems that she hurt her back too, somehow. No idea how. They're treating her, giving her meds, seeing how she does. All the tests came back negative. Anyway, I digress. Oh, and did I mention that a pipe burst in my home? Flooded my office? And requiring us to tear apart the entire master bath.
I gotta turn down my heat. Oof.
That's why I'm coming to you from our spare bedroom rather than from my office tonight. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I don't have to go through this alone. Grateful for my wife, for my cat who, despite what she's gone through and how much I wish she'd just tell us what's going on, I'm still...
He's searching.
She's around.
This is a man searching for it.
Grateful to my neighbors.
What's he looking for?
Grateful to my family, friends, my fellow gamers, all of y'all. Because, you know, the saying is that life is short. And I believe it is. But the surest way to make it seem longer is to try to go through it alone. Don't you think? And there's no disaster so awful that you can't make it worse.
Ooh.
So how do we avoid that? Well, one of the people to whom I'm most grateful is my past self, who took his health seriously, who lost the weight, worked on himself, ordered his life, got to the place where I feel tough enough mentally and physically to deal with all this bullshit. And it is bullshit. There was a time where something like this would have bowled me over. In fact, things like this have bowled me over. It's not speculative. There's evidence. This time is different. And I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to take care of my wife and my cat.
You know, when I was thinking about this moment from, when would this have been? 3 years ago. It would have been October of 2022. Yeah, a little over 3 years ago. The thing that I remember most about this is, yes, like the trauma of it all and the scariness of going forward. But one of the things I most remember about it is how alone it was. And so it's really interesting to listen to my past self talk about that and display gratitude for being connected, when in my memory, I don't remember feeling that way at all. I remember feeling very, very isolated. Even though, yeah, I mean, cats are wonderful, and she ended up being fine, thank goodness. She's with my ex now. And one of the things about this time that sits strange in my recollection is just how little teamwork there was between my ex and I. There was no animosity. There wasn't really any difficulty, but also not a lot of pulling together. I really was on my own to figure that out. I applied to like over 1,000 jobs after this video. And I didn't have anything start to break for me until I had a recognition that I had a recognition that I was putting on a show, that I was saying things that I thought someone like me should say, and I was trying to project an image of what I thought was wanted. And I feel that I wish to take my past self at his word, but I feel that watching this, that I'm definitely trying to put on the clothes that I wish would fit me. John Nordy, what is up, brother? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I think actually I think I can tell you my exact weight on the day that I recorded this because I have a daily weight log dating back to early 2022. Let's see. What's the date of this? November 1st, 2022. Wow, this is going to be fun. I keep interrupting myself. It's probably not good for clips and stuff, but I'll get back to it. November 1st, 2022. Oh, I just crossed a threshold like 5 days before this. I crossed the 400-pound threshold. That morning, I would have weighed in at 395.8. And this morning, I weighed in at 248. Still working off my holiday weight. So yeah, that was 150 pounds ago. That was near that big TFC COVID era. Yeah. Yeah, when the whole TFC beer league thing was going on, Ja, I was much heavier than that even. I was closer to 500 pounds, above that a bit. At least for a few days, I was losing a lot of weight, but I had a lot to lose. You know, it's fascinating. For the most part, people haven't commented on my weight loss until I crossed the 300 barrier, even though I went from 600 to 500 to 400 to 300 to 250. The thing people notice is the change of the look in your face, I think. And that didn't really start happening until getting down below 300. Thank you. Huge work. You're right. You're right, man. And I appreciate you saying it. Yeah, it's actually sort of astonishing to look back on. And there's a part of me that sort of, I don't know, there's a part of me that's sort of agog at it. Like, how did I do that? Another human ago in more ways than one. Yeah, you said it. I think that the isolation of that time, even though it was difficult, and you can see me wishing it were otherwise in this video, it gave me the gift of being able to really control my environment. And because my ex and I were living completely different lives at the time, I could really ratchet in my lifestyle. And that's what made the weight come off. John never thought of it, but yeah, you can guess at one point if you can lose 50 to 100 pounds. People, yeah. The first 200, 300 pounds, people for the most part didn't notice. Or at least if they did notice, they didn't say anything. But then again, I was for the most part trying to hide from people in those years. So it's not like there were a lot of people in my field to even see my progress. Yeah. All right, should we see what else he has to say?
And if I can get away with it, all of y'all too.
Oh, let's back that up.
And my cat. And if I can get away with it, then I'm going to take care of my wife and my cat. And if I can get away with it, all of y'all too.
Even then, he had a sense of mission, of arriving to this earth with something to give, something to share. It's been 3 years and change since then, and I wish I had that more definitively named. It's aching to come out of me, y'all. I tell you. We watching self-reflection? We're reflecting on self-reflection. I can turn this off if this is agonizing. I was curious to even recall this day. So the connection, Ja, if you missed it at the start, is that I lost my job this morning, setting off on a new adventure. Um, it was a thing that happened to me, although it was not exactly a surprise. Um, and I was reflecting on the last time I had this experience, which was just before I recorded this video, when I lost another job, and reflecting on the differences between how I felt then, and how I feel now. And one of the biggest differences I can viscerally feel is that my life actually does have a lot of people in it now. I have friends to text, people to call. I have help to draw on. I'm about to sell my car and I'm not worried about it because I know that if I really get into a pinch, I can probably borrow a car for a day because I know a lot of people in the area. Um, like I have much more of a sense of being held by the collective we. Whereas when this happened last time, I have really felt that it was all on me. And the thing that made that period even work is a combination of unemployment and the fact that I had a retirement account and I drained all that away in order to get through this period. Probably sharing a little too much information, but that is seems to be my gift. Let's open a few more presents then.
Here's the other lesson about hard times.
Ooh.
It's something that a former boss of mine once told me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lesson that I don't believe I've really started to really understand, really get my arms around it until the last few weeks. And it's this: people remember you for who you are to them, not during good times, but they'll remember who you are to them during bad times, during hard times. You can be someone's best friend, closest confidant when times are good, when business is good, when life is full of meaning and purpose, direction, and momentum. But if you're not there when they're going through tough times, that's who you are to them. And most people understand. Most people understand. We all have our own hardships, difficulties. I once read somewhere that on average, most people you bump into on the street are dealing with one or two serious tragedies in their life.
Ain't that the truth?
Whether it's a health issue for themselves or for a family member.
That is so true. Like one of the biggest sources of community that I've tapped into in these last few years is getting into singing and kind of falling in with the barbershop a cappella community, which has a whole international society with like competitions and conventions and scoring, and it's all a lot of, at times too serious and at times very silly fun. But what I found is that most people who find hobbies like that, things that have pursuit and connection and people in them, most people who make time for something like that in their life really need it. It's not like an, oh, wouldn't that be nice? It's not like a, oh, this is fun. And if you ask them, they might just say, oh, this is fun. And maybe they don't know you well enough yet to say, maybe they don't know themselves well enough yet to say, but usually the folks who find it need it. And usually what's underneath it is what I just said here, or what he just said. Oof. That most everyone you bump into, anywhere you go, is dealing with one or two major problems, tragedies, life changes at any given time. Humans are remarkable. And, as I'm saying all this out loud, I think a lot of it can be applied to those of us who find ourselves here in these gaming worlds. I certainly needed it when I was sticking my head in that sand. Everyone you bump into is going through something. Yeah, Ja.
Someone losing their grip on reality, financially or otherwise. But people will remember you for who you are to them during hard times. This quote from my former manager came during a hard time at work. And it was all the motivation I needed to step up. And I'm proud of how I dealt with that. But that was years ago. And I don't really think that I really internalized that lesson until the last few weeks when I've been going through all the things I mentioned. Layoff, sick cat, sick wife, burst pipe, and unplanned bills. Because through all of this, the people around me still need me. They still need things. Just earlier today, after getting through a weekend where the most important thing was getting our formerly flooded bathroom and office dry enough so the contractors can come in and turn them back into rooms again. My wife reminded me that I still owe her tech support on the webcam in her Chromebook.
Oh, right.
And she's right.
I don't think we ever fixed that.
I may have promised her before all this went down, before I got laid off,
due to my lack of
before the unplanned bills, before our cat got sick, before she got sick. I promised her that I would help her with that. And it might be reasonable for me to say, you know what? I have too much going on. I can't think about this right now. But I didn't say that. Because it's important to be needed. And all these things that have happened within my home in the last few weeks, they haven't just happened to me, they've happened to her too.
That's some really formative shit that you're hearing past me say here. This is at this time, this was an entirely new way for me to think. Me to not just think about how things were arriving to me, how things affected me, but to think in terms of how I'm showing up for others, even when things are rough for me. This is the real stuff happening. I'm grateful that I turned on a camera and recorded this. Casey Shuffle. You still walking a lot. Less than I like. But yes, I walk every day. Right now, my habit is that I actually get up and walk first thing in the morning before the sun comes up. And I usually try to get myself back to my writing desk for sunrise so I can watch the sun come up while I'm journaling and reading, kind of meditating. Falco, what are we doing tonight? Well, it's a banner day, Falco. It's a new day, new life laid out before me. This morning, I lost my job. And I've been experiencing the blessed relief of a release from stability. It's time for life to change, But it's a change that I've been thinking about and working on for a little while. So even though things are a little scary, it's not like I'm totally unprepared. I'm actually really excited. Appreciate that, Falco. Yeah. No, I think the change is really, really going to be for the good. Really going to be for the good. Um, and I was just sitting here reflecting and remembering that I lost my another job like 3.5 years ago, and I sat down at that time and I recorded this video, and I was just feeling the difference between where my life is at today, where I can go into this situation and just immediately turn on and just kind of flip into okay, what are we doing with this kind of space, and maybe even bring a little fun and lightness into it. Um, but I remember how isolating and difficult and grinding it was to go through that period of unemployment. And I was just curious to examine it. On the stream last week, one of the things that Radagast, I think it's Radagast, said. Put the Oblivion music back on, or just talking. Was that around the time I stopped doing gaming videos, my content went from being kind of basically cheerful to being basically melancholy. And I was thinking about it and recognizing, man, he's so right. Haven't heard Rada name in a long time. It's fun to see those old names come back. Really fun. I hope it's not too confusing that I've started using my real name here instead of the old handle. But I don't know. It just around the time I made that change, it felt important to integrate all the ways in which I'm coming into the world into one thing, one being, one person, not to divide myself in any kind of way. It's good to be one thing. It's hard to be one thing.
And she will remember who I am to her during these hard times. If I shirk, if I make excuses, if I hide away from responsibility, if I prove not big enough for the moment, she'll love me still. She'll understand. But if I don't do those things, if I don't let go, if I rise to the moment, solve the problem, and make myself into the person that the moment and the people around me need. And if I can do all these things without letting go of who I am and what I'm about, then there's no telling. There's no telling what kind of man I could become.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel that. Oh. Yes. Holy shit. Lock in. Lock it in, baby. Recorded this on November 1st. My first day at the job that eventually found me was the following June 5th. Looking at my weight log. See what kind of man I became. June 5th weigh-in, 351. So, lost about another 50 pounds over the next 7-ish months, 8 months. Pretty good. But the weight loss was definitely not the biggest part of the change, as you can see here. It was this. It was this. What if I don't escape this? What if I don't run away? What if I don't excuse myself and distract myself? And I was just beginning to understand that there was something bigger out there that I could connect with by going all the way down in. Shuffle, how was the back pain when you started walking? Unbearable. It was unbearable. That was actually one of the first things that changed when I started making progress. I lost the first 80 pounds, get down to the low 500s. That seriously improved my back pain. But when I started, I couldn't tolerate being on my feet for more than 3 or 4 minutes at a time. And so what I did was, the apartment that I was living in at the time, I would walk around the parking garage. Not a big parking garage. I could do the whole loop around the outside of the parking garage. Well, inside the parking garage, but around the rim of it. In about 10 minutes. And I would do that by walking for 3 or 4 minutes, stopping and resting my back by leaning on something. There were structures and things and places I could sit. I'd do that for a minute, get up, do another 3 or 4 minutes. And I was listening to podcasts. I was doing everything that I could think to do just to get myself mobile. And at the start, I was super literal about it with myself. I would count the laps. And I would, over time, I'd try to add more and more laps. I remember in 2022, which would have been just maybe 6-7 months before this video was recorded, I moved into that place. Which meant moving out of the old one, and I no longer had a parking garage to walk around, which was very convenient in many ways, by the way, because you don't get rained on in a parking garage. And it actually was surprisingly cool in the warm months. It was kind of nice. But the new place didn't have anything like that. I had a cul-de-sac that was chock-a-block with cars. And I'll never forget the day when I was walking around that cul-de-sac and counting the laps, and I was just like I was getting up to 20, 30, 40 laps, and I was like, wait a second. I can go wherever I want to go. I can walk down the street. I can go to the grocery store. I don't need to stay close to home and be in this safe, curated path. I can go out and explore. That was one of those tiny victories that changed me so deeply, but so invisibly, because not only that, just because I was the only one there to whom it was happening, but because I was not with people at that point in my life. I very badly wanted to be, but I was not. And you first started so painful. Yes. You loved walking at park when it rained because you'd be the only one in the entire park. It is uniquely annoying to be in a beautiful place that's got too many people in it, isn't it? Okay. We're close to the end of this rumination. Let's see it through.
Of this, I'm firmly convinced. People remember who you are to them during hard times. It isn't just about my wife, either. This is about stopping to help a neighbor on the street with a flat tire. This is about helping an Uber driver out who doesn't know where the address on his phone is. This is about picking up a piece of trash on the street that's not your responsibility. It's about taking a shopping cart that someone left in a parking spot and putting it where it belongs. It's about being the person needed. It's about recognizing the moment and allowing it to call you forth. All these things, they may seem selfless, but they're not. These things become part of who and what you are.
Preach. Preach, brother. Yeah. It's funny, as I was listening to myself rattling off that list of stuff, I was like, oh yeah, that's just like what my life is like now. I don't deliberate, I just participate. I just jump in. Whatever's going on, whatever's going wrong. I had such a strong... You can see in his eyes, you can see how much he knows this is true. But he's still figuring out how to walk the walk. And that's part of why you talk the talk, so you can identify the road ahead. John, my local park has about 3 miles of trail, including a boardwalk. Having it all to yourself in nature is amazing. 3 miles? That is nice. That is really nice. The place that I'm moving out from next month is in a really beautiful neighborhood that's close to a huge park here in Seattle called Discovery Park. Beautiful. Amazing. You saying that has reminded me that I need to get myself down there. Especially now that I'm, I don't have to do any more morning stand-ups or Friday enablement sessions or anything else that a little package of karma required of me. In Seattle, you bet the parks will have people even when it rains because it's always raining. I mean, it still tamps things down, but there is a degree to which that's true. One thing I've noticed is that, it's like it is anywhere. The more beautiful the weather is, the more full the hiking paths are. But yeah, that's a good point. Actually, when we were chatting last week, Cha, with Henry here. See, Henry is in Helsinki. I mean, we're looking at annual rainfall across Baltimore and Seattle and Helsinki. And we realized that Helsinki is even more Seattle-like than Seattle. They get even less annual rainfall than Seattle does, but they have more rainy days. And you look at Seattle, that's kind of what it's known for. It doesn't rain a lot, but it rains a lot. Hopefully that made sense outside my head. Let's proceed.
And if you face the moment willingly and sacrifice the parts of yourself that must be sacrificed to rise to them, you'll become somebody dangerous.
Ooh.
I don't mean dangerous in a violent way or
Me?
chaotic or impulsive way. I mean dangerous in a useful way. I mean effective, useful, desired. Someone who somebody in a hard time would want to have around. So become that person. Become that person who can be relied upon during hard times.
There's a cut right there.
You could do a lot worse. I know I certainly have.
Wonder what I cut out.
I know I certainly could. People remember who you are to them when times are hard. Thanks to my former boss for telling me that.
Ross,
you never
the
know when a
boss.
piece of good advice
Good man.
is going to suddenly germinate in the right situation when your body and mind is ready for it. And look, I'm not just here in the hard times for my cat and my wife. I know a lot of you are going through hard times. I know a lot of us gamers can retreat into games when times are hard. Sometimes that can lead to making them harder. I've done that. Sometimes you could even say I'm doing it. It's not always easy to know the difference. But what I really want to say is, I'm here for y'all too. Planet Mans. Warriors. All of y'all. People remember who you are to them in hard times. Thank you for listening to me speak my mind. Catch you later.
Was this the darkest of the dark times video? Kai. It's good to see you, brother. Joff, you're distracting yourself by gaming. It's solo player. No way you're doing multiplayer while sad or angry. Be nice if all the folks playing multiplayer games would follow that same rule, wouldn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I think we've all been there. I think that's one of the things that brings us together here. It's turning into those worlds. Truly beautiful worlds. When the one outside is just difficult to bear. Kai, to answer your question, today is the first day of the rest of things. And what just happened is, because of the day's events, I felt called to review a similar day that happened to me a few years ago. And what happened just before I recorded that video was I lost my job. Also, there were some other crazy things going on, like my cat getting sick and a flood in my house. But I lost my job this morning. And it's time for life to change once more. And as I was reflecting on it over lunch, I was feeling really lightened by the possibilities that are ahead of me, and by the strength that I know I possess, and the people that are in my life, and how different it feels today than it did on that day. That's what we're talking about. Maybe we don't need a whole screen full of chat, huh? Yeah, I think that when I recorded that, the idea of flipping something hard into something good was sort of like personal innovation. Something I had started to figure out was possible, but hadn't really done enough to prove to myself. Now I am that person. That's the kind of man I became. And once again, I have someone relying on me. My life changed from the last one, moved on, threw myself out into the world, and love has found me again. I hear her rattling around in the kitchen. She's being very kind and patient with me because she wants to spend time with me, and she will. But I said that I thought it was important to hold to my intentions and go ahead and do the stream tonight. And because this is something that really matters to me, you know, holding whatever this community is, finding the ways that we can be better to ourselves and each other. And I still have this deep conviction that I really have something to give. I'm sort of hoping y'all will help me figure out what that might be. Hero's journey completed. Sorry to hear that it sounds like you're entering different times now, not dark times. Or you're sorry to hear that. Sounds like you're entering different times now, not dark times. Yeah, different. But also, there's more of a chosen quality to the differences in my life because I've taken seriously and smartly the signals from my environment about what's not right and started exploring what the next thing would be. And that's why today, even though it is jarring and, upsetting, I don't feel disturbed. I feel all right. One of my favorite things to do is to hold space for people, for their stories to come out, things to be explored. I think a lot of what I'm sometimes doing here when I'm flapping my gums is modeling what I'd like to receive from folks, from y'all even. I miss doing the podcast. I think it might be time to figure out, once I get my arms around the basics of the next few weeks and making sure bills are getting paid and that our plan for moving is locked in. And of course, the job search. There are 1,000 things that I need to or should be tending to. Is finding some way back into doing those long-form conversations. I miss them. And even though I don't see myself coming back to PlanetSide or Guild Wars or Team Fortress Classic, there must be some way back in. Must be some way back in. A week or two ago, I got an email in my inbox from Healthy Gamer. So probably y'all already know who Dr. K is. But just in case you don't, Dr. K is a psychiatrist, I guess? Psychologist? I don't know. He helps people. He helps people with their mental health. And he had the idea that it might be a fun way to help more people by streaming on Twitch. And he was right. And he found gamers and folks who are stuck and struggling right where they live. Did you only realize you missed this kind of thing recently, or has that hole been there for a while? It's been here ever since I stopped, Kai. I just couldn't see a way back in. I still don't see it clearly, but it's like I feel the light of it on my face. You've watched plenty of this stuff, Henry. Bad Luck Wheaties are all playing pickup right now. Yeah. Yeah, you know, even though I miss the escape into games, it's funny to recognize that I don't really miss the games themselves. And I think I just got sick of the limitation of connecting with people over games. Not like sitting at a table in a bar talking about a video game. That's still great. Because you're in the room with a real person. And you get to see how their face lights up. And you get to access something closer to the real thing. But, you know, streaming or talking on voice or text, it's good. It's wonderful. But it was not enough for me. You guess it's always hard to work out how to get back to something like that when you're so overwhelmed with all the kinds of change. Yeah. And honestly, Kai, the thing about video games that's wonderful is it gives such a robust framework. Like, I don't think that we all would have found each other if it weren't for the games that we were mutually interested in. I bump into this in the world of barbershop all the time, where, here, let me show you some barbershop in the background while I'm talking about it. I bump into this in the world of barbershop. Oh, look, there I am. You want to hear me sing a tag? But, no, I'll play something from a chorus rehearsal. Behind the scenes. Ooh, yeah, okay.
This document certifies that Michael Lill has been accepted as a member in good standing of the Barbershop Harmony Society. And I can't read. It is hereby granted all
What
rights
point was I trying to make?
in accordance with
I'm getting
the
very
bylaws of the
distracted.
society, and entitled to harmonize at any time, day or night, subject only to the code of ethics.
Oh, the structure of coming around a mutual shared... Oh, look. Oh, you might have just seen my wife in that. I didn't expect. She hasn't really given me her permission to show her off to y'all yet. Where? Oh, wow, we sound pretty good. That's us singing in a new member to our group. But yeah, the point I was thinking about when I brought that up, there must be some like more. Oh, this is us hanging out at the pub. This is good stuff. I'll just play this as a background track. That this pub just shut down at the end of last year. It's very sad. But am I here somewhere? No, I must not have made it that night for some reason. Oh no, there I am, right there. But I noticed this in this world too, where you might see these folks and be like, oh, they're all very extroverted and they're out at the bar and they're singing and they're sharing music. But if it weren't for the shared interest, a lot of this would never happen. A lot of this connection would never happen. I'm aware of the power of it. And I always wished that playing video games would feel like this. always wish that. No, that's my buddy Jason. I always wish that playing video games felt like this. Listen to this. Okay. Okay. So this is a famous barbershop song called From the First Hello to the Last Goodbye. It's about saying goodbye to someone. And it's famous slash infamous in the barbershop world because it has the very end of the song is called the tag and it has variations. It has the high tag and the low tag. The high tag is loud and proud, and the low tag is soft and mellow. You can see us indicating with a finger point whether we're going for the high tag or the low tag here. It's kind of like going battlements or going spiral. Going battlements. Ooh. Yeah, baby. You want to hear me sing the Shoe Body Bop? I don't even know what that is. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube you can hear me singing if you're curious. I won't torture y'all with it. Kai says it's an easy starting point. You guess, like any other thing, you have friends from old sporting teams or previous jobs that you never would have met otherwise. Yeah, I think it's probably an important. I mean, how many people are there in the world that we come together with without having a shared interest or pursuit? You might say it's. I think the only real example of it is maybe the family you're born into. I think if you're a parent, you still have a connection like that to your child because you had them. You made them. There is something in it. It's a silly video, but the song is dope. Animated thing on YouTube. All right. I got to learn what the Shoe Body Bop is. Let's see if we can find it. But I really want to understand this. I would like to understand this about video games. And is it only the fact that it's not happening in the same room? Because I can tell you that being in that room for that moment, look at Jason's face. He's so photogenic. Being in that room at that moment was so healing and wonderful. And this video is just one of thousands of these kinds of experiences I've had because of this singing hobby. Shoe Body Bop. Okay, I'm gonna stop noodling over that. One being that we can overindulge in it so easily. The Shoe Body Bop. Kai, you're not sure, but you feel like when it's a specific hobby like gaming, the relationship sometimes doesn't have the space to flourish beyond the hobby. Yeah. And I had that kind of connection with some people that I sing with too, where it's like, man, I really like you. I wish we could be like more friends instead of just like, fellow singers in a way. We call each other friends, but something prevents a connection that has a healing quality to it. There are definitely people I've connected with in that world where healing does come through the connection. I could rattle off a few names. Actually, I invited a lot of barbershoppers to my wedding. Just a couple months ago for that very reason. But it doesn't always happen. And in the world of video games, I don't know if it... No, it can. I think it can happen in the world of video games. It can. It's just exceptionally rare. Exceptionally rare, and it takes either a really remarkable event or a dramatic amount of time spent together. Top one. Okay, we'll have a click. I want to make sure we give this conversational thread it's the space that it needs to breathe. Then we'll have a listen to this thing. Like these two old work friends you reconnected with last year, we have nothing in common now, but we all still love spending time with each other. You don't really get to that stage with online gaming friends. Relationships always have to revolve around the gaming. Yeah. You say always, clearly it's not. But it does feel like it's hard to push past that. You know, this is like... I'm trying to remember the timeline. So when I recorded the Hard Times and Gratitude video, that was in November of 2022, I started singing, like you just saw, in February of 2023. So just like, can you do math? 3 months later. And as soon as I started doing that, that's a lie. It's not as soon as I started doing it. You know, I'm going to come back to this. Now, remind me, but I want to show y'all a little bit of evidence, if I can, about the inflection point for me. When I got from the point of, I'm not getting what I want out of video games, but I don't know what else to do, so I'm just going to keep trying, to, I'm not getting what I want out of video games, and it hurts more to try than it does to try not to. And it was something that happened in barbershop that made that turn for me. You only maintain relationships with your very first gaming group. Something very special about that, right? You guys see Genordi here talking in the stream. I don't know, Joe, I wouldn't say we were amazing friends, but we've been acquainted and known of each other for over 20 years because of our connection to Team Fortress Classic. I don't know how old you were in those days, man, but I was high school, college. And there's something really remarkable about reconnecting with someone from that long ago who knew something about you so well, the way that we gamers know each other by our shared interest. And then to see the years past and to come back together in some kind of way. We locked down that basis championship ramp from his soldier duo. Oh, yeah. Is that for TDA? How old were you when you met them? Teenage. 15, 20 years. 2000, 2001. NCA? NCA. I can barely remember NCA. You lied to get into NCA. You were 17, 18. How old were you supposed to be? In 2001, I would have been the same age, 17, 18. How old are you today, Ja? I'm 42. Yeah, we're basically the same age. Of course, easy for me to say, being the older one. Soon to be. Birthday coming up. Shovel also loves Shoe Body Bop. We have some Shoe Body Bop fans in here. We're creating the anticipation of it. Let's see here. Okay, I think if I go pee now, then I'll be able to get through the rest of the stream without having to pee again. So I'm going to go do that right now and rejoin y'all in 30 seconds. Barbershop it. Ooh, I like that idea. Okay, back in a flash. You know, one of my favorite things about doing streams that are not video game related is I don't need to use headphones. Just, ears are just free. Free to the open air. Ah, it's so soothing. Okay. Are y'all ready for the shoe body bop? We got our next beverage lined up. This is a premium non-aspartame sweetened soda based on stevia, creatively called Zevia. Actually, I love this stuff. Their cream soda flavor, it's very satisfying. It's still not Diet Coke, but am I ready for the bop? I don't know. I'm starting to feel intimidated about it, if I'm honest. Cream soda. Mm-mm. Okay, here we go. We're gonna bop.
Do bop shoo batty 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 do bop
Ow.
shoo batty do 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 bop shoo batty do 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 bop shoo batty 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 do 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 bop shoo batty do
Oh yeah. Diabolos.
Shooby bop 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 a doo. Shooby bop shooby bop shooby bop shooby boo.
That is almost certainly shoppable. Hang on, I gotta shoot this link over some of my barbershop buddies. I'm gonna send this to them right now. All right, dropped him a note. Asking some of the young, smart barbershop heads if we think it might be shoppable. Shoe-body do 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 do. Shoe-body do 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 do. Something terribly offensive is there's a prequel? Do we want to? Oh man. Newgrounds Origins? Sped Up is the best version. Sped Up? Bop Shooby Doo? Alright. $4K 12 hours. Bop Shooby Doo. Alright. Alright, we're gonna do it. It has a spiritual quality to it, doesn't it? Joe! Holy crap, it's Joe! Okay, hang on, I gotta pause. Joe is like... Well, I was gonna say you're my oldest friend. That makes you sound ancient. I mean, we're the same age, but like Joe is a high school buddy, college buddy. Joe, I miss the hell out of you, man. We still gotta set up that FaceTime or whatever it is, Discord or something, with you and me and our girls. We gotta link things up. Henry most definitely does. So what's up, Joe, is that I lost my job this morning. So we're celebrating the beginning of a new phase in life, and just learning what this thing called the Shoe-body bop is, which I'm still not too sure about. But we're going to investigate a little further. We miss you too. Let me know. I will. Actually, this sudden change in my availability is an excellent prompt to get the things that I should be doing and make them actually be doing. Okay. Bop Shooby Doo. This is short. There's something... Okay. I'm having an impression of the previous video. I'm going to let it percolate for a moment.
Bop shooby doo. Bop shop shada doo. Bop shop shada doo. Bop shooby doo. Bop shop shada. Bop bop shooby bop shooby doo. Bop bop shooby bop shooby doo. Bop bop shooby bop shooby doo. Help! Help me! Shoe-body bop, shoe-body doo, doo-waddy doo, shoe-body doo, shoe-body bop,
Cold.
shoe-body doo, doo-waddy doo, shoe-body doo, shoe-body bop,
Have fun, Ja. Hit an air shot for me, buddy. Ah. Okay, so the shoe body bop has something to do with the headbutt and the spiritual release that's connected to it. Oh, what could that be? Is there more to this? Something terribly offensive. I think that's something that someone was just mentioning. Shuffle said that is the prequel. Oh, this is the sequel we watched. Okay. All right. I guess we got to watch the whole family. I guess we're in for a penny. Here we go.
Okay, I don't even know how to describe this. I was standing in line at the bank, and I'm about 3 people behind the first available teller. And the people are just like sort of filing in and out, going to the available tellers. Suddenly it's my turn, and the guy behind me, right before I go up, says something incredibly offensive. And so offensive that I don't even feel comfortable saying it. I would never say it. And the fact that anybody said that gets me kind of angry. And I'm looking at this guy. What the heck is going through your head that makes you think it's okay to talk to me like that? And so I grab him. I grab him hard and I bop. I bop him on the head with my head. I give him a head bop. Oh, and he doesn't appreciate that. He'd rather not have that happen, that's for sure.
Ooh, the sacred fire.
But I bop him again. And I say, don't you ever say that. You could hurt someone's feelings. And he gets the message at that point. That's when he understands. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach to even think about it. That someone could say that? I'm sorry to get so riled up, but you can't say that. You can't. Not anymore. You're lucky I don't get a little more serious with you, you know? Cut your nuts off, huh? I'll do it. Don't fuck with me, man. Don't fuck with me. I'll fuck with your nuts, huh? I'll fuck them off. I'll cut you into little pieces, huh? You think I won't cut you? You think I won't cut you into little tiny chunks? You don't know me at all. Tell them, boys. Oh, don't even let him chop you. Don't fuck with this guy. He's the one, okay? Yeah. Dead meat. These are my boys, and they're always with me. And they support what I say. Thank you, boys. We made the boss happy. Yeah. The boss is happy. That means I'm feeling good. So I'm not gonna cut you today. Boss, cut you some slack. I'm gonna cut you some slack. The only thing I'm gonna cut you today is some slack. Huh? I got it. I figured it out. I can handle it. You're giving me a little bit too much, alright? I need you to back off, okay? Fuck off, boys.
Oh no.
You know what? I don't like saying fuck off.
Am I gonna
to
sing
my
this
boys.
too?
They don't deserve that. But that's the sort of person that I have to be. Because of people like you. You make it rotten for all of us. And it's just not fair. And I'm just not gonna take it anymore. You have to change. And I take his head into my hands and I bop him. One
The minute hour. Oh my god, there's more of this? The 4Buddy bike? I might have to pace myself. Most of this guy's videos are pretty absurd stuff. I kind of enjoyed the Shoe Body Bop. It's bizarre. Good night, Will. Let's definitely talk soon. Will Joe. Shoe Body Bop Bop Doo Doo. Restream tells me that we've received 100 chat messages, boys. We did it. Joe, sorry to hear about the context of sudden availability. Let's take advantage of it. Yeah. Yes. 100%. You're going to crash. Joe, I have not been reading your messages. I'm speaking to the video now because I think you've already logged off. That's okay. We'll find time. Make the time. Shoe body do 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 do. Shoe body do 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 do. Mm-hmm. I got to share a little token of my gaming past with my wife the other day. I convinced her that it would be very, very funny to watch videos of Oblivion NPCs having conversations with each other. And she was delighted. I'm pleased to report videos like this. All right now. See, we're doing this again, right? We're revolving around an interest. Shoe Body Bop now. Now I wonder what fine recommendations YouTube will have for me. Stuck in there good. Yes, sir. 4Buddy bike. I'm actually really intrigued. I'm going to save it, though. I'm going to save it. For Buddy bike is recent. I just got a email invitation for a phone interview, a potential new role, 9 p.m. next week. I think maybe they met 9 a.m. At least I hope so. Kai, do you have a reading spot where you like to do your reading? Yeah, actually, you're seeing one of them. This is my writing desk. So the way this room is set up is I have my technology desk. Actually, how could I show it to y'all? Oh, yeah. We're ascending. Oh yeah, the slack on that's good. Okay. See your reflection in the dome. Okay. Some sweet Canada Dry. Here we are. This is a new monitor purchase. Well, relatively new. And then back around here is me and the writing desk and my bookshelf. Got a set of bigger bookshelves out in the living room and a nice couch, which is a lovely place to read. But usually what I'm doing is I'm sitting right here. Just back here. When I'm sitting and doing my writing in the morning and I'm watching the sunrise, it's rising right out here. What became of my Steam library? It's still there. Actually, my gaming PC is sitting right there. It's still hooked up, but I haven't turned it on in a while. One of the insights that I had, tell me if y'all can hear me okay, by the way. I think I set up the mic so that it should be picking me up okay. But one of the insights I had when I decided to do the stream again was it would be easier for me to resist the temptation to load up a video game if I was playing a device that had no video games on it. And my gaming PC still has PlanetSide and Guild Wars and World of Warcraft and Doom and a bunch of other things besides. You like the feeling of reading under direct sunlight? Oh yeah, me too. In fact, what I'll do in the mornings when I'm sitting here, now it's Seattle, so oftentimes it's too gloomy to experience direct sun, but it'll get to the point where it's too sunny, so I take my trusty Orioles cap and I just keep going. I love this hat. I wonder if I could load up the chat here on my phone so that I can be less tethered to the screen. Probably I can. Shoo-body do 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 do. Shoo-body do 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 do. Let's see, restream. Maybe there's a restream app. That would make things easy for me. Well, there must be a restream app, right? My keyboard wants to correct restream to restroom. Not sure what to think about that. Restream does not have an app. Super live stream and something. Probably I can just log into the web app though. Restream. It's audible. Good. Do I get direct sun? Kai, yeah. I guess that's inferred by your following question. You kind of struggle to find a spot in your place to do it. You don't like reading in your room where all the other distractions are. Yeah, I found it to be my strong preference to read somewhere where I have a surface and where I can look out a window. As long as what you're looking at is tolerable, the actual direct sun, even if it's not directly on you, but the access to things that are directly reflecting the sun is really nice, and it's somehow less distracting than the order of what's inside. That's how I had it set up at my last two places I lived. And actually, once my wife and I move into our next place, part of the adventure, by the way, we haven't talked about this, but part of the adventure is that we are going to be moving in with my mother-in-law. And that will be quite the fun adventure to adapt to. I don't know if my writing desk will find a home. shoe body, do. Okay, gotta make sure I'm sharpish about ending the stream at the 2 hour mark today. I can hear the shower running, which means wife is tired and ready for bed. I don't want to totally miss her tonight. He needs to set up a space like that. I recommend it. Actually, when I was actually, I've used the word actually like 5 times in the last minute. Let's chill out on the actuallys. So, when let's turn the music back on. When I'm tired. I'm tired. I've been up late singing the last couple nights. And of course, it's been a uniquely stressful time. But what was I saying? Oh, yes. When I originally got the idea of this writing desk, it was around the same time as that Hard Times and Gratitude video that we watched earlier, where I was trying to hold space for an intention to be more, give more of my energy into reading and writing. And I was like, well, let's get a writing desk. And it's one of the best investments in furniture that I've made. You can see how simple it is. It's a simple black Amazon desk. But it's got my books all over it. When I sit down at it, that's all that's there. I try to keep my technology over here where I literally can't see it when I'm sitting at the writing desk. I'm trying to log into Restream on my phone. Actually. Okay. Now watching the stream of me, watching the stream of me. Chat. Chat settings. Can I show the history? I guess new chat messages will show up here. Alright, good enough. Yep, showing up. One of the things that I'm not very good at making time for is music preparation. I have a pretty strong memory, so I can usually learn things pretty fast. I kind of abuse that strength in my musical pursuits because the thing about barbershop music is very different from, let's say, like choir music, is that in choral music, people sing with their music in front of them. Like you have a folder, right? La. But in barbershop music, it's all sung from memory. So I have a bunch of music I need to learn. I'm going to be doing singing Valentine's in a month. So I have some Valentine's music to learn. I just actually put together a pickup quartet for that. And I have a contest in 2 months. Then I'm competing with 2 different groups in the same contest. That'll be fun. And I also have some summer things I'm preparing for. There's a lot of music to learn. I have a piece right here, actually. This is a pretty one. This is one that my second chorus started working on. See, it's in the key of C. It's not strictly barbershop. It's beautiful. Oh, I rest my weary soul in thee. I give thee back the life of life I owe, that in thine ocean depths is thrown, near richer for thee. Beautiful tune. Do I know anyone with perfect pitch? Yes. Yes, I do. One fella named Billy. I know a bunch of people too who have extremely good pitch, not quite perfect. I think there's something about perfect pitch that is there's a learnable quality to it. It's not entirely like a natural born talent, even though folks who have it tend to have had it forever. You know what would be cool? So I have right now I have the stream set up. An interesting natural talent to have. It really is. Right now I have the stream set up with the webcam coming out of my webcam. But I have because it's running off my laptop. I also have. Let's see, is this thing on? Can I switch this? Yeah. See? There's my laptop right over there. So I can take it and move it around with me. Kind of walk around a bit. I can also bootstrap my phone as a camera. Possibilities. Okay, we got 5 minutes left in the stream. What should we talk about? Multi-camera production studio. Yeah, if only I knew what to do with them. Cameras are easy technology these days. It's remarkable. Our whole world has changed because of the proliferation of cameras everywhere we go. Like the webcam, a little mellower. Hot take on current thing. I'd be pleased to give you a hot take on something. You gotta name me a current thing, though. I gave you my hot take on Shubadi Bop. I think there's a spiritual quality to it. Give you my hot take on Homer. Actually, I still have this stack of books that I need to go back through and review. Got Homer. I just finished reading Dispossessed. I got Canticle. And of course, Julian here. 4 books I need to go back through and do my review process. Once I do that, I want to make some piece of video content around it. But I don't know what that's going to look like yet. In the meantime, usually I'm always reading one fiction book, but I'm trying to be a little disciplined and force myself to do my review before I pick up the next book. Hot take on my hometown. Here's my hot take on my hometown. I love those dear hearts and gentle people that live in my hometown, because those dear hearts And gentle people will never ever let you down. That's my hot take on my hometown. That's Bob Crosby. Look it up. Bing Crosby's older brother. I probably shouldn't sing on the stream. It probably sounds like crap. Oh well. That's me. It's what you get. Positive hot take. Yeah. I don't even know what I would call my hometown, to be frank. I mean, I lived in Connecticut till I was 13, and I lived in South Carolina in 2 different homes for middle school and high school. And then it was college, and I went to school in New York, and I went to school down in South Carolina again. And then my parents moved to New Hampshire, landed there for a few years. And then it was off on my Swiss adventure, and then here to Seattle. And actually, when I came to Seattle, I was living on what's called here the East Side, from 2012 to 2022. So I don't even know what I would call my my hometown, to be honest. I think the location to which I have the most fond affiliation is probably my high school years in Greenville, South Carolina. My hot take is that books should be free to all, so he steals them. It's very easy to steal books. The cool thing about books is that they're such economically efficient occupation. Like, I don't know, like if for me, I feel silly to consider pirating a book because it's just so cheap for what it is. I guess video games are kind of that way too. At least if we're talking about box prices. Can you imagine a book with a microtransaction? What would that even look like? Okay, actually I'm imagining it now. Like maybe like special fonts and extra illustrations. Maybe commentary tracks. It would all rely on non-paper technology. Maybe there will come a day where when we have the ability to create something more like a screen on something that feels like a piece of paper. I could see that being a thing. And then you scale the technology and get to a point where you can actually make something that looks like a book, but is actually just many screens. So you get the feeling of holding something physical and turning the page, which feels so good. You also get the browsability of books. That's one of my favorite things about paper books, actually, is that you can just flip through them. Do I have any books here that I've marked up? Let me... Well, most of my books that I reviewed from last year in the outside living room bookshelf. Yeah, I can't get any good examples at hand. But this is something I've been working through for a little while. It's called Against the Machine by Paul Kingsnorth. I found his newsletter on Substack when I started getting into Substack last year. Really enjoyed his writing, and eventually he published a book, and I was like, oh shit, this book looks great. But I love being able to just like bop around and be like, okay, here's this essay, and he's kind of an essayist, so he writes in an essayist fashion. I gotta find a different way to do this. Chat. Scrolling so I can look at chat is very silly. You know what? I had my phone. Let's do that. put it here in my book so it looks like I'm reading. Do I buy my books? I guess I answered that question. Yeah. And part of the reason I buy them is because I mark them up. Let me show you Dispossessed. Actually, I'll show you the Homer. That'd be a more visceral example. So, you can just see a couple pages here, and I go through and I'm constantly underlining. With the Homer, I do a lot of underlining because it's poetry, so it's very difficult to skim. So I like to highlight key ideas, so that when I'm looking back through it, I can quickly understand what's happening. But I also keep little notations in the margins to mark out specific things I want to come back to. And then what I'll do is I'll make a little mark at the edge of the page with a Sharpie so I can see where my notations are. So can't really do that with a library book, even though I love the idea of sharing books. And if it weren't for my way of consuming them, I would. It's cheap for the amount of work that went into it and what it could mean to you for the rest of your life. Well said, man. It's amazing the way a book can change you that like a movie or even a TV show really can't, because the depth to which you can chase a feeling or thought in a book is just so much. It gets us so much closer to the real ground. And the fact that it only moves at the pace of our own consciousness, whereas TV, movies, even music all moves at its own pace. Something about that creates a strong intimacy. Where I feel like when I've read a book, I've it's almost like I've danced with it, you know? The year after I started doing barbershop, I wanted to pick up a physical hobby. I got into dancing. And actually, I haven't danced in a little while. Another fun thing that happened to me about a month ago is I had emergency surgery. Maybe I'll talk about that on the next stream. I'm okay, by the way. But that's why I haven't been dancing. But there's something about the way you can connect with someone when you're dancing with them that is unlike. It's not like sitting with them. It's not like talking to them. It's not like almost anything you can do. It's wonderful. And there's something about taking something in this way that feels more like that. Have I ever joined a book club? Yes. Okay. We're past the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to answer this question, then we're going to wrap things up. When I first got into serious reading, like classics and philosophy, is because of a book club called the Catherine Project. The Catherine Project is a lovely online sort of book club nexus, like liberal education. When I say liberal, I don't mean politically. I mean in the classical sense of liberal arts. And I did their core program, which Life of the Mind seminar. It's really cool stuff. What is this, a slideshow? Dang nabbit. A spreadsheet. I just want to see what's in Life of the Mind. Details. Oh, here we go. The reading list. Parmenides, Sophocles, Oedipus the King. I really enjoyed Oedipus. Plato, Aristotle, Lucretius. I mean to go back and finish Lucretius, and I have not done it. So yeah, I did that book club for like 3 months, and it was a reading during the week, and then you meet up with a bunch of folks on Zoom and you talk through it. I loved it so much. And since then, I've been trying to get back into book clubs, and I keep starting them and dropping out because I can't read at the pace that book clubs require. So Iliad came to me via book club, and I tried twice to do their Core 2 program with Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, I fell behind and ended up reading it at my own pace. I love book clubs. It's just very hard to find one that tackles things in the way that I like and also at the pace that I need them to go. That's what intimidates you too? Yeah, I feel that. I don't know, maybe that I have some time now I should re-explore. Anyway, I shouldn't be so anxious to fill up all this time. Speaking of filling up the time, though, I got to call it a night. I'll be back next week. Thursday nights. Probably around this time. I might move things up a bit into the afternoon now that I'm not working. But let me ask one more question to y'all. When I turn the stream on, would you like to be notified? And if yes, where would be the best place for you to receive a notification? Would it be via like a Discord notification? Would it be via like a Twitter or Blue Sky post? Or Henry says yes to notifications. Hard to find the casuals with reading. I don't know. I think you can find casuals with reading. It depends which part of the bookstore or the library you're in. Discord's best for you personally. We can start using the Discord. That's one of the things I haven't really refreshed since I've picked things back up. Maybe we can put some time into that next week before the stream. And I'll probably try to get into the habit of figuring out stuff to share on Blue Sky and Twitter too. I think there's an opportunity for me to have places where I'm sharing everything that's going on. Right now I have content on Twitch, content on YouTube, and I have content on Substack. But it'd be good to have a place where that kind of wraps all those things up. I just get leery of spamming people and being too self-promoting, but I gotta get over that. As long as it's roughly around the same time, you can get notification through Twitch or YouTube. Okay, so Kai, you don't need the notifications. You have that set up, but it sounds like Discord, good for Henry. We'll play around with it, but I'm gonna call it a night. What a joy and a privilege it is to spend time with y'all, to get caught up in this way. It's sort of a miracle the way we can come back together after all the time. I'm reveling in it. And I'm excited to see what the next day and the next week brings. And you, I'm sure, I hope you will enjoy getting to hear all about it next time we talk. Think about bringing your own story to the stream next time. I'd love to hear about it. And we can all hold a little space for each other. Y'all have a great week. God bless. Take good care. And we'll see y'all soon. Oh, and watch Substack and YouTube for new content on Mondays. I'll see y'all out there.